Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I am your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I'm here with my buddy Jason, who can be reached over on Twitter at a geek of nature, all one word. What's up, dude?
Not much. Just ready to go over some football, some decent Sunday action, I guess you could say.
Well, before we get started, if anyone's interested in checking out the page's social media, it's facebook.com/American Sports Connection or on Twitter at AM Sports Con Pod, P-O-D. That's where all the archive shows are at if you don't check them out on YouTube.
Yep.
All right, well, let's get into it. Thursday night, we had an ugly one with the Cardinals and the 49ers.
Yeah, pretty much the David Johnson show. Nothing big happened. I think the biggest thing actually coming out of that game that happened is Colin Kaepernick was named the 49ers starting quarterback today.
That's about it.
Yeah, Arizona back on track. They have been looking a little sloppy lately, but they put up a good game on Thursday night. Stanton, you know, he was a fill-in, and he did what he had to do. He managed the game, threw a couple touchdowns to Fitzgerald, and they pretty much put that game away relatively early, I would say.
Yeah, they're getting to see what Chip Kelly's all about.
Yeah, San Francisco fans probably aren't too happy.
No. All right, next we had the Patriots demolishing the Cleveland Browns.
Yep, Tom Brady's statement, I'm back, bitches. And he's Tom Brady again. What, 4 touchdown passes I think he had?
Yes.
Three. All three to
Martellus Bennett.
All 3 to Martellus Bennett. Nothing else big, I think, happened in that game, really. Patriots just basically put their foot on their throat relatively early and finished them off and did what the Patriots tend to do to bad teams.
Yeah, I'll say this real quick about this game. I saw where the Browns went and tied it at 7-7. I said, maybe they're going to keep it interesting, and then their quarterback got hurt.
Yeah, and the funny thing, too, that came out of that is Charlie Whitehurst came in for Kessler, and Whitehurst got released today.
Go figure.
Yeah, they called Kevin Hogan up from their practice squad, and I guess they're going with Kessler and him, or I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
It don't matter, I don't think.
Not really. Next, we have the Eagles and the Lions.
Yeah, the game that I was saying could be a trap all week turned into it, unfortunately. I mean, the Eagles shot themselves in the foot in this game. They got off to a bad start early, went down 14 points. Turnovers, their first 2 turnovers of the year are the 2 biggest of the year. Other than that...
like my buddy Adam says, when you fall behind 2 scores, you almost have to play perfect football.
Yeah, you do. And they actually did for the longest.
Yeah. And
took the lead and could have put the game away, and then Ryan Matthews fumbles. Questionable on the replay. I mean, there's a lot of people who are saying that they believe that ball should have been blown dead. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an NFL official. I don't think the NFL... Yeah, I don't think the NFL officials know the rules anymore anyway, but...
No, and then Dean Blandino goes and covers their ass.
Yeah, I mean, what you could have said is Ryan Matthews could have not fumbled the ball and the whole thing would have been moot, you know?
Well, he should have known better not to hold the ball in that hand.
Yeah, and the other thing that I question, too, is I don't understand why Smallwood or Barner did not get a touch on Sunday, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean... Hopefully the Eagles rebound with a big division game next week, but it was a pretty good upset by the Lions. I guess it was an upset. I kind of expected it because
I don't know if you're familiar or heard this. I read this before we got on that the league upheld Lane Johnson's suspension.
Yeah, his 10-game suspension will be upheld now, which means he won't be due back until the second to last game of the year.
Well, I read something, I don't know how true it is, that he's going to, sue over this, and it might, make the process even longer where he doesn't have to miss games.
Yeah, they're saying that I think his lawyer even released a statement that said they're going to see what avenues they can take to get it to get the situation rectified or whatever.
But,
and another.
Long
Sorry,
story short, if he misses games, I've read it's Big V that's going to fill in, right?
Yeah, he's going to be the right tackle, and they're just going to leave Alan Barbary at left guard, where Barbary's actually looked good at left guard, in my opinion.
Yes.
Him and Brooks look pretty good opening up holes on Sunday inside.
I read, Ray Didinger, who's usually pretty solid for those that are familiar with him from NFL.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he said he thinks Big V is a year away from being the starting right tackle.
Yeah, which means if Jason Peters is gone, Lane Johnson can move to left tackle, which was his natural position.
And then the problem's fixed.
Yeah, also, Detroit signed running back Justin Forsett today.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so they add Forsett to the mix with Theo Riddick, who had a big game against the Eagles, Riddick.
He's a hard runner.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's a dual threat as well, out of the backfield and catching the football and running the football.
Right. Next, we had the Bears come up just a little bit short against the Colts.
Yeah, game that the Colts absolutely had to win, in my opinion. I think Pagano's job was on the line, and Andrew Luck hitting T.Y. Hilton late, who they had some big games hooking up with each other.
It's not that the Chicago offense looked bad, because Hoyer had a good game.
Hoyer had a great game. Howard had a good game, and then the receiver Meredith had a good game. They all had good games. I mean, offensively they moved the ball really well. It's just their defense couldn't come up big.
No, I agree with you. I think they're probably in line for a top 5 pick.
Yeah, them in Cleveland I think might fight for the number 1 overall.
Right. All right, next we had the Titans put a beat down on the Dolphins.
Yeah, Mariota 4 touchdowns. It was Miami, another team, man, where those guys are in trouble. I think the jeopardy of losing some jobs. Tannehill had a terrible game.
I've never seen it with him.
I've always thought he was decent, but man, he really hasn't. I mean, he really hasn't done much this year,
and
I don't think.
He has talent around him.
Yeah, they have some decent young talent, especially. At Tennessee, just they wanted this game and they took it.
And like we had mentioned before, Murray had a big game where it's like he seems to get stronger as the carries come.
Yeah, DeMarco Murray's the kind of guy where if you give him 22, 25, 27 carries a game, he's going to have a good game because he's going to hold on to the ball. He's going to carry their offense late to put a game away. I
agree. Next, we had the Redskins. I would call this a mild upset over the Ravens.
Yeah, it was a boring game. I'll tell you that much. 16-10 final. Flacco threw the ball 46 times, which I was like, wow. He only averaged yards per attempt 4.6. He did not throw the ball downfield very often. I'll put it like that.
Well, what's crazy is they had got a touchdown to take the lead in this game, and it got overturned.
Yeah.
Late in the game.
Yeah, and that pretty much was the nail in their coffin for that game. Yeah, it just wasn't a very exciting game. I guess that's the best way I could put it. Jamison Crowder had to play the game an 85-yard punt return for a touchdown.
Yeah, it's not really like a stat-heavy game.
Nah, nothing in this game really stood out. It was just a good, dirty win for the Redskins on the road against, I guess you would say, would be their rival. As close to a rival as you can get that's not in your conference.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. All right, next we had the Texans getting thumped on the road to Minnesota.
Yeah, man, Minnesota. I had doubted them a little bit. Like we've been saying lately that their defense is legit. Like we pretty much agreed on that, and I think it's a fact. But this week, man, offensively, I thought they looked better too. Bradford had a really good game. And just they're going to be a tough team to beat. It seems like they already have a good home field advantage in that new stadium. And with that defense, dude, it's going to be rough to beat them.
I was going to say, they impressed me because their best player on offense didn't play, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can also say that Adrian Peterson is their best player on offense.
But left.
Yeah, they're getting it done, man. Like, that team defensively, I think their defense is setting the trend. Like, they're really, like, just dominating on the line, both sides of the line. And they actually lost, I think, another offensive lineman. I think they just signed Jake Long, right?
I believe so.
Today, I believe they signed Jake Long, an offensive lineman.
And the other thing is the Texans go on the road and lay another egg.
Yeah, they're a team that just, like, I mean, Osweiler, he hasn't. Like, 1 week he'll impress me, and then the next week he won't. A guy like Will Fuller did not show up this week. He had 1 catch for 4 yards this week.
Yeah, it's not going to get it done.
Yeah, they just didn't have a very good game. They scored a late touchdown, Hopkins, from Osweiler, and other than that, it was like, yeah, Minnesota's just going to put you in a bottle and you're not getting out. Their defense.
Yeah, basically.
Not a very good game, though. Minnesota, though, deserves a lot of credit right now. They're, what, 5-0?
Yeah.
4-0 with Bradford.
Yes. All right, next we had the Jets get beat down by the Steelers.
Basically the same game almost. Like, it was 14-13 at the half, and then the Steelers just took over, man, especially late. Fourth quarter, they scored 2 touchdowns. The one to start the fourth to Antonio Brown, and then late to just totally put the game away, Roethlisberger to Sammy Coates. Roethlisberger had a big game, dude. 2 touchdowns to Coates, 4 overall. It was the Big Ben day. He's definitely said, forget about that Eagles game because he's come to life since that one.
You better believe it.
Yeah, 380 and 4 touchdowns. Sammy Coates 139 and 2 touchdowns. Antonio Brown 78 and a touchdown. Offensively, they didn't run the ball that great. They only had 66 yards with Le'Veon Bell. D'Angelo Williams only touched the ball 1 time, but in the air they abused the Jets.
I agree with that. Moving on, we had one of the more surprising wins of the week. Atlanta going into Denver and beating the Broncos.
This game did surprise me, but not huge because of Paxton Lynch. Yes. You know, I'm not a big Paxton Lynch fan. Like, I said when he was in college, I even didn't care for him. Remember, we used to talk about him, and I say in big games he's not going to be there. But Atlanta, man, what are they, 4-1 now?
Yeah.
When's the bottom going to fall out of that team, though? Because remember last year they kind of did this too, and then it was like, yeah, the league caught up to them. I mean, they got some weapons, man. They really have some weapons.
Put on like a blueprint on how to hurt the Denver defense with the them crossing routes. They really hurt them with the crossing routes to running backs.
Yeah, with Coleman 132 yards receiving and a touchdown, and then Freeman ran the ball 88 yards. Coleman ended up with 163 yards and a touchdown out of the backfield and receiving. They put together a game. They beat Denver. I'll put it like that, dude. They beat Denver. I mean, it was 23-16, but
it wasn't really
won.
That close because they had a garbage touchdown late.
Yeah, Denver had a garbage touchdown and a garbage field goal late. So yeah.
Yeah, but that was impressive to me.
Atlanta right now might be the surprise in the NFL next to Minnesota, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, next we have the Bengals going to Dallas and taking a loss.
Yeah, this wasn't a game. It was 28-0 at one time. I mean, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, their 2 draft picks, are winning football games for them.
And Dalton looked terrible.
He looked... he had a lot of guys in his face. We'll put it like that.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, he was sacked 4 times, but the Bengals didn't play a very good game.
No, not at all. All right, next we have the Bills putting together a 3-game winning streak going out to L.A. and beating the Rams.
beat a Los Angeles Rams team that was 3-1. The player of this game, no doubt, was LaShawn McCoy. 150 yards rushing. He put the game away for them.
He's ever since Sammy Watkins went down, he's been like the old LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, he's starting to look a lot better. This game, to me, it was kind of boring. Nothing big happened in it, in my opinion. It was kind of just like one of those games that you just keep an eye on if you have fantasy players, and then I didn't really care. But Buffalo, man, coming off of a big win over New England, putting up another big win on the road, Rex Ryan has saved his job.
I got to give him credit, man.
Yeah, I give him all the credit. They're winning games. They're doing it in a good way, too. Yeah, because they shut out New England.
And then they destroyed a really good Arizona team and gave Carson Palmer a concussion, I think.
Yeah, that was the week before New England, so yeah.
So they got a nice little run going on there. All right.
And let's put it like this, too. One thing about Buffalo is, dude, they lost 2 tight games to the Jets in Baltimore.
Yeah.
They did not get... Well, actually, that Jets game was but they lost 6 points, combined 12 points in those 2 games. They didn't really... they're a team that may have just needed a little nudge to get going, because I think they're a good team.
I agree. All right.
Okay.
Moving on, we have the Chargers coming up short in Oakland.
Maybe the game of the week, definitely if you like offense, because this game had some scoring in it. 34-31, Chargers win. Raiders win. Trying to give the Chargers a win they didn't get.
Yeah, I agree with this. Amari Cooper scores his first touchdown.
Yep.
and Raiders defense forces 5 turnovers.
And I stick with what I said, dude. Raiders are winning the West. I'm sticking with it. They're winning ugly games, but they're winning. Have you seen... Dude, their wins, all of their wins are like... They won by 1 point. They did win by 7 over Tennessee. Then they won by 1 point against Baltimore, and then 3 against San Diego. So they're not putting together big wins, but...
They're the cardiac kids.
Yeah, they find a way to win the game, and in some cases, San Diego finds a way to lose the game.
Basically.
But yeah, this was like a offensive person's dream. Rivers had a big game, other than 2 interceptions. Derek Carr didn't have a huge game, but like you said, Amari Cooper had his breakout. So
he potentially, I read, could have had 4 touchdowns from where. 1 was called back on a penalty, and 2 other ones he couldn't get both feet in.
Yeah, and I believe, Sebastian Janikowski became the NFL's all-time leader in field goals from 50 yards or more.
Yes.
So there's a record for you in that game.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Not the sexiest of records, but...
All right, we're going into Sunday night now where the Giants fall short in Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay pretty much controlled most of this game.
It was an ugly game to watch.
Yeah, the Giants scored with a couple minutes left to bring it to a touchdown.
I don't understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, that more people are not coming down on the Packers because their offense looked terrible.
It didn't look too good. I agree. But that's, to me, they have the talent to where they could end up putting it together.
Oh, I agree.
So it might be.
Remember last year, people said, "Oh, it's because Jordy Nelson got hurt."
Yeah, he hasn't really looked that great though. So
no,
but we'll see. We'll see.
Just, kind of look flat.
Yeah, we'll see though. I think they're gonna have a breakout, and I'm hoping it's this week because I think they're playing Dallas this week. But we'll see.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Yeah, this game really wasn't that great. I mean, the Giants scored that touchdown to make it a 1-touchdown game late, and other than that, Green Bay pretty much controlled the game.
Yeah, and it had to be like a crazy perfect catch by Beckham to even get the touchdown.
Yeah, which he's the king of.
I know. I agree. All right, and last but not least, last night's game, the Buccaneers walk off on Carolina.
Yeah, well, we could say last but least, because this wasn't a very good game.
No.
A field goal wins it. The kicker had already missed a couple early in the game, and then he knocks one through. So, as you said, to walk off. Best way you could put it. Carolina's in trouble.
Yeah, and the only real star of the night was Jacuzzi Rogers that had like 10 million carries.
Jacuzzi Rogers?
Or however you say his name.
Is that what we're going with? I think it's Jacquizz Rogers.
I don't know how you say it.
Jacuzzi. Well, yeah, Jacuzzi, whatever works. Yeah, he got 30 carries.
I'm just saying, you never see that in the NFL.
Not often, not with because teams usually have two backs now, and they just kept giving him the ball, and I mean they won the game. Mike Evans had a touchdown catch from Winston. Jameis Winston didn't turn the ball over, which seems to be a shock nowadays. But
it's not a very fun to watch game.
No, none of the 3 primetime games were this week.
And the NFL wonders why it's down.
Yeah.
All right, do you have the stats from last week to see how we did?
Yeah, not too good again. All right, here we go. Last week's picks. Let me get it out. I closed my book on it, which is probably a good thing. We had 7 losses each again. You lost San Fran. We both lost the Eagles. We both lost the Dolphins. I had Houston beating Minnesota. I must have been drinking. We both lost Baltimore. We both lost Denver. We both lost Cincinnati. And we both lost Carolina for a total of 7 each. Ooh. Now, this week, you want to get into the games real quick?
Yeah, I have the schedule right here whenever you're ready.
Oh, I have it, too. I have it written down, so I can go right off in order. All right, Thursday night. Opener, Denver at San Diego.
I'm taking Denver because I have to believe Simeon will be back this week. Plus, the Chargers just find ways to lose games.
Yeah, Denver going with a new head coach this week, too, because Gary Kubiak's not traveling with the team.
That's right.
But I'm picking Denver as well. I think their defense is good enough to beat San Diego, and San Diego's bad enough to beat themselves. So
right.
All right, next game. Starting quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, San Francisco 49ers at the Buffalo Bills.
I'm taking the Bills because it always seems that West Coast teams, when they travel to the East for a 1 o'clock game, always struggle.
That, and I believe Buffalo's got the ball rolling now, and I don't think Kaepernick's going to make a big enough difference for San Francisco, to be honest with you.
That.
All right, Jacksonville at Chicago, the stinker of the week.
Ooh. I will go with Jacksonville because I think they'll make enough plays because they have a lot of playmakers on offense.
I'm going to take Chicago in this one at home. I think Hoyer and Howard and Jeffrey and those guys do just enough to win the game. I think it could go either way. I don't really care about this game either way either, but we got to pick it, so I'll go with Chicago just to take the Bears. Why not? All right, the Los Angeles Rams traveling to Detroit to face the Lions.
I'll take the Rams because their defense is nasty, and I think they'll make a play or two to kind of make the difference.
I agree, and I'm not even going to add anything else. You said it pretty much well. All right, Cleveland at Tennessee.
I'm going Tennessee, and I'm going to pick against the Browns all year until they prove to me they can win a game.
Yeah, you said it right there, too. I'll go exactly what you said and take Tennessee as well. I think Tennessee beats them. I just can't pick Cleveland to win a game. Pittsburgh at Miami.
Easy one. Pittsburgh rolls.
I agree. I think Pittsburgh might put up 40 points again.
Yeah. They're playing the right teams to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, you pretty much said it right. I'll take Pittsburgh as well on this one. I think Pittsburgh. I think we're going to be looking at Pittsburgh and New England for the AFC this year. And speaking of New England, Cincinnati at New England. Tom Brady's home opener.
I'm taking New England because they're just so very tough to beat at home. Plus, Cincinnati did not look good last week, and this might get ugly.
Yep. All right. Carolina at New Orleans.
Ooh.
This is a rough one, huh?
I'm going to go with the Saints because the Saints can put up points. I don't know if Newton's going to play this week. I haven't really heard anything, but they can score.
I'm going to go with Carolina in this one. I think they really need a win, and I think Newton will be back, and I think they're finally going to get another win. So I'm going to take Carolina on the road to beat New Orleans. That's Philadelphia at Washington, what I think could end up being the game of the week.
I'm going to take the Eagles because I think they're going to not be happy after their performance this past week and kind of play angry and, pick up a big road win.
Oh, man, this is a rough one for me. I'm going to go with the Redskins. I don't know why. I'm not even going to say why, but I'm going to go with the Redskins.
Like a gut feeling.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Or a reverse jinx feeling. But, yeah, I'll go with the Redskins.
Yeah.
All right, Kansas City at Oakland.
I'm going Oakland. They just seem like they figured out how to, win ugly, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
And they just look like the better team right now.
I think I'm going to take Kansas City in this one. I think they really need a win, and when Andy Reid really needs a win, he tends to get it. So I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one, just because I got a feeling Oakland's due for a loss again, too. They're 4-1. It'll pull that division back a little tighter, and I think Kansas City just pulls it out. Okay. Dallas at Green Bay, which could also be the game of the week. We got a good 1 o'clock game and a good 4 o'clock game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Packers because they're at home, right?
Yeah, it's in Green Bay. It's in Lambeau.
Yeah, I'm going to go with them. I think Rodgers will make just enough plays to win.
I agree. I think that Green Bay beats them. I don't trust Dallas's defense at all, even though they did kind of play well against Cincinnati. But I think Green Bay pulls this game out, and I think it keeps the NFC East even tighter. All right, Atlanta at Seattle.
Ooh. I'm going to go with Seattle because I think their defense will be able to not completely stop Atlanta, but at least slow them down a little bit.
See, this is the game where I think Atlanta falls off, and I think it starts them to start falling off even more. Matt Ryan has a history of playing bad against teams with a good secondary, and Seattle has probably the best secondary in the NFL. I think Seattle ends up beating them like 30-10 or something. I think this is going to be a huge win for the Seahawks because I don't like them traveling, the Falcons traveling all the way out west. And I don't like Matt Ryan's chances against that defense.
If they were smart, they should have just stayed out there because they played Denver.
Yeah, they may, actually. You never know. Sunday night, Indianapolis at Houston.
I will go with Houston for the fact of the Colts' defense is terrible, especially their secondary.
Yeah, and I think Houston really needs a win, too. I think they really need a win. Yeah, and I think they're going to get it Sunday night. I like their defense against the Colts' offense, and I like Osweiler, Fuller, Hopkins, and Lamar Miller, those guys against the Colts' defense. All right, last game, Monday night, the Jets at the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm taking the Cardinals. They're one win away from being at 500. They need a win bad too. Well, so did the Jets, but I just trust the Cardinals more, especially with their defense.
Yeah, I think Carson Palmer will be back this week too, so I agree with you on that one. So here's our picks. We both have Denver over San Diego. We both have Buffalo over San Francisco. I have Chicago. You have Jacksonville in that game. We both have the Rams over Detroit. We both have the Titans over the Browns. We both have the Steelers over the Dolphins. We both have the Pats over the Bengals. I have Carolina, you have New Orleans. I have Washington, you have Philadelphia. I have Kansas City, you have Oakland. We both have Green Bay over Dallas. We both have Seattle over the Falcons. We both have Houston over the Colts. And we both have the Cardinals on Monday night over the Jets.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're not playing for money the way we've been picking them the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I definitely would not take our picks and bet with them.
All right, everybody, we're going to get out of here for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, smash the thumbs up, all that good stuff. And we will see you back next time. Have a good day, everybody.